This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Thursday edition of MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Juan Gil.
And I'm Mareli Sanchez. I'm sure you've noticed gas is less than $2.80 a gallon in Lubbock these days, and the price is still falling. Reporter Keely Womack caught up with a local expert to find out why. Not that anybody's complaining.
Gas prices have slowly been dropping the past couple of weeks. According to the website gasbuddy.com, October 19th marked the lowest average price this year, sitting at $3.12 for unleaded gasoline in the U.S. and $2.91 in Texas. I sat down with Charles Bolton, co-owner of Bolton Oil Company, to see why these prices were dropping like they were.
I inquired with our supplier because it's a little unusual for it to be dropping as much as it's been dropping the last few weeks. He told me that the oil supply right now, the crude oil supply is on the high side, and that we're not using as much product. So that's the reason for the gasoline coming down in price. When that happens, when they get overstocked on crude, and then consequently they wind up with more gasoline in storage than they need, and they drop the price to get people to drive more and keep their tanks full.
Paige Kemp, a senior graduate student in accounting, and Sarah Mindy, a senior biochemistry major, tells us how the gas prices affect how they fill up their gas.
Probably just about the same for me. It's just easier, I guess, to fill up gas. If the prices are higher, then I usually just try to make my car go for as long as possible, but with the prices down, then it's easier to just go get gas when I need it. So.
What about you?
Yeah, my professor actually taught us about the oil commodities, so I kind of watch them and see what's going on in the oil market and then follow that with my gas prices. So like I know in the last 3 weeks it's going to go down even more, stuff that's going on. So yeah, if you watch it, I usually follow what's going on in the market and then base my gas filling on that.
Bolton also tells us what some of his customers have said about filling up their gas when prices are this low.
Actually, the cheaper the fuel, the more we sell, and customers are happier. I don't know whether I talked to a few of them, and they told me they go more when the price is down.
The U.S. national gas average right now is 27 cents more expensive than what it is here in Lubbock. So, while prices are still cheap, everyone go grab a tank of gas.
You might have caught a scary scene in and around Urbanovsky Park last night. They weren't ghosts. They were just students and staff joining in the Monster Dash. It was a 3.1-mile run around the Rec and United Supermarkets arena starting at 6. There was a $20 entry fee, or if you brought 3 canned goods, it dropped to $15. All contributions go to the South Plains Food Bank and costumes were encouraged. This was the second year for the Monster Dash, sponsored by Tech Triathlon. Tonight, you can learn about the secret lives of real vampires. Bats, that is. Gary Carter is earning a PhD at the University of Maryland, and he studies bats. He'll talk about them tonight from 6 to 8 in the museum at Texas Tech. He promises it'll be kid-friendly.
If you like vampires, you might want to drop by the Alamo Drafthouse tonight. They'll be showing Cronos, a 20-year-old classic from Mexican director Guillermo del Toro. Cronos is a vampire classic set in both the 16th and 20th centuries, and it won many awards. This film is part of the Texas Tech International Film Series. You can reserve a spot for $5 through the Alamo Drafthouse website. And if that doesn't freak you out enough, we have more. The Exorcist will be showing at 10 in the Escondido Theater in the Sub. This is another classic horror film about a demon-possessed girl. This film is free and includes snacks and a drink. Of course, you'll still have to find your way home after dark. And actually, it won't be stormy or anything, but it might be pretty chilly.
I think I did hear Carly say something about that. Carly, what can we expect for tomorrow's Halloween festivities?
Thanks, guys. Our Halloween is definitely going to feel quite chilly on that Friday afternoon and evening. The high in that Friday afternoon will be at 62 degrees, and the low, that is Friday morning, will be 40 because that's the coldest point. Now, around that trick-or-treating time, temperatures will be at 50 degrees around 8 a.m. So not as cold as it could be, and so it should feel great if you are taking kids trick-or-treating. Now that average high and low is 70 and 42, so things are a little bit cooler than average, but not as cold as it could be with the record low at 20. Now, typically, October 31st is the day Lubbock has its first freeze on average, but once again, it doesn't look like we're going to make that mark this year. So as we take a look at our lows across the area, once again, Lubbock is at 40. Most of our areas to the south will be in the 40s as well, with Freona a little bit cooler in the 30s, close to that freezing range at 34 degrees. Now as we take a look at our high temperatures, once again Lubbock is at 62. Most of our areas are in the 60s, with Post just slightly warmer at 65 degrees. Now, why are our temperatures dropping into the 60s? That's because this afternoon we are having a cold front push into the area. Temperatures this afternoon will warm into the 70s and 80s depending on when that cold front hits your area. But as that cold front comes in, that is what's going to cause the winds to blow from the northeast and drop our temperatures. So as we take a look at that 3-day forecast, you'll see that Friday we do have winds northeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour with the cooler temperatures. For the most part, our skies will remain sunny. The rain will stay to our south. So Saturday temperatures will begin to warm again with that wind blowing from the south again at 10 to 20 miles per hour. The high will climb into the 60s. Now Sunday will feel even warmer with the highs climbing back into the 70s and the low only at 49. So those winds will still be blowing from the south. As we take a closer look at our game day forecast, that game day kickoff is at 6:30, so it will feel much cooler than like our 11 a.m. kickoff. And so 60 degrees as the sun sets, it will feel extremely cool. So you'll definitely want that jacket. The low during the fourth quarter dropping to 52 degrees. Now, winds will be stronger than typical on game day, but hopefully that will not be the reason why we can't beat the Longhorns. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Carly. Hey, if you just want some scary music without all the terrifying vampires and demons, then the Hauntsert is more your speed.
The University Symphony Orchestra will play Halloween theme music starting at 7 tonight in Hemley Recital Hall. Before that, though, they'll host a musical instrument petting zoo in the lobby. Musicians, the orchestra, and guests are all encouraged to wear costumes. That should be interesting.
I know, right? That's all for this Thursday edition of MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you again next week.